Hi, this is Max Rottersman from Does It Matter and Why? And today, once again, we're joined by Craig Kelly, who's in Georgia. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Max. How you doing?
Good. So, are you still working as a poll watcher?
I am not right now. Advanced voting in Georgia closed on Friday at 7 o'clock. And yesterday and today is a door knocking day for me. And
So,
tomorrow, well, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, go on.
And then tomorrow, I go watch paper ballots being approved. Again,
So,
I'm
what's door knocking?
door knocking. It's literally knocking on doors or ringing doorbells of people. I've got a list from the Democratic Party, and they say, go knock on these doors. And here in this part of Georgia, at least, these doors are very, 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 very far apart. It's not meant to be walked. It's meant to be driven and parked on the side of the road. And it's super different from Cambridge.
Aren't you afraid somebody's going to shoot you on their lawn?
I'm not. This is sort of suburban Georgia. I do see a fair number of guns. Yesterday there was a guy that didn't open his door for me, but his was a uh, protected by Smith and Wesson sign or sticker on the door. So there's bumper stickers like that and door stickers like that. But so far, and there's some big dogs, but no one's chased me off their property yet, and no one's been rude to me.
And dogs? Have any dogs chased you?
No, they haven't chased me, but there have been some big dogs behind doors. And I got to say, when you go up to a door and there's a big, loud dog, um, well, you figure when they start barking, the owner's going to know that you're there. So there's no need to ring the doorbell. And you don't want to get too close to the door either. They scratch and they bark. And it's, even with the door between you, it can be kind of intimidating. You get why people get dogs if they're looking for protection.
And so, what was your impression of people's like your mental attitude? How many interviews do
So
you think you did?
some folks are happy to see me. Most folks aren't home or not answering the doorbell if they are home. Some folks clearly shouldn't be on the list that I'm working from, like the guy with the gun sticker and whatnot. They're all very polite, and next to none of them have any sort of sign or bumper sticker or whatever. I'm going through these neighborhoods, and from the outside looking in, you come down here and you expect this sort of, near Civil War-ish kind of Hatfields and McCoys going on. But you would drive or walk or bike around these neighborhoods, and you wouldn't notice anything in the neighborhoods. You see a lot of political signs on the main streets, but you see next to nothing in the neighborhoods. And sometimes it might be the homeowners association says no signs, but I think a lot is just like people don't put signs up, and I'm not seeing bumper stickers. It's really weird because
Well,
clearly
to
there's a
me,
lot
to
of.
me, you're an abnormal person if you have signs and bumper stickers. But that's just me. So,
Well,
how
no,
many people do?
fair enough, but I mean, so there's a lawsuit, for example, against Giuliani for the 2020 election where he exposed someone as a what he claimed sort of to be a corrupt poll worker, and it wasn't, and it's turning into this big event where the lady had to sell her house because now people knew who she was and she was being terrorized, and that's sort of the backdrop you come down here, or I come down here with. And maybe it's there on the airwaves and on the internet, but at the doorstep of someone's house, on the streets where people live, I'm just not seeing it.
Well, that's
That's
good.
not to me. That's not to say it's not a momentous vote. There's big differences in the. I think it's the Constitution Journal down here had an article today about the wide gulf between Kemp and Abrams. Um, but that's not to say that people are throwing punches at the local park. We'll see what happens on election day or when the count happens. But for right now, it's all very, very civil. There are some mistakes. There were, for example, about 1,000 absentee ballots that didn't get sent out in Cobb County. Um, and 1,000 out of, however, say 370,000 votes that get cast. It's unfortunate. They say it's human error. assume that that's the case. People make mistakes, and that's going to happen. Ideally, it didn't impact the election unfairly and was not meant maliciously, but we'll never really know.
Yeah, it's 0.3%. That's pretty small.
It's pretty small. I'm sure there are other mistakes. Just like with my ballot, it got down here. The ballot wasn't in there. I don't know how it happened. I'm pretty sure it wasn't intentional. I did wind up voting, of course, thanks to Sam that dropped my ballot in the mail, and it dropped. I sent it back today. But I'm not seeing the maliciousness that I expected, and that I think a lot of us are getting from news feeds, one place or another, that say, "Hey, this happened here." It just doesn't seem to be widespread on the ground. We may see something change dramatically election day or after election day. I'm going to be at some of the counts where ballots are being processed, and perhaps I'll see some angst there. But really, honest, and I'm not listening to the news or watching news and listening to ads and whatnot. But what I see, what I overhear people talking about, it's just, it's not that rancor that people warned me so much about when I came down here.
Well, that's good. Anything
Yeah,
else
I
that's
think I think it's good. The door knocking part, Max, it's just a different way of looking at politics, and I think that's something those of us, especially in northeastern, dense urban areas, need to understand. Not every place is like Cambridge. The voting machines aren't like Cambridge. The simple act of politics changes. And I think sometimes people might think that because it's different and we're not used to it, perhaps it's corrupt, and sometimes it might be. But that's not the default. So I'm going to walk God knows how many miles today to just knock on a handful of doors because they're that far apart. And that leads to a different sort of politicking by people. Knocking on doors doesn't really work. So you got to do it some other way. And for me, it's very interesting to experience those differences.
do you have any identifying stuff on you so when they see you
Well,
coming up
I've
the
got
path,
my
they
Stacey Abrams sticker here on my chest, and
that's called a
I've
bullseye,
got.
buddy.
Well, so you think that's funny, and it is kind of funny. But my point is, folks won't open the door for me, but they're not swearing at me. They're not letting the dogs loose. They're not brandishing a gun. They're just like, my mind's made up. I'm not a Stacey Abrams fan. Don't bother me. I'm going to go back to watching football or whatever it is that I was doing today. And I came down, and I've had my car vandalized, not down here, but up in Boston. I think because of a Trump law sticker I had on it. So it's not like that is unreasonable to expect, given the Capitol insurrection and the Whittemore kidnapping and the Pelosi assault. Like, this is all real stuff that the Republican Party is behind. So it can definitely happen. I'm just not personally experiencing here in Atlanta.
Okay. Well, thanks for the update. And
You're welcome, Max. And I'll let you know how the paper ballot counting goes tomorrow. That's another procedural thing where the last couple of days have been politicking on my part. Monday and Wednesday both are going to be, as is poll watching on Tuesday, they're going to be procedural, where my job is simply to help oversee the procedure and let people know if things seem to be going improperly. I won't ever be touching ballots.
so you'll be working all day on Tuesday for the
Yes.
election,
Yep.
and then you'll come home and watch the results as you fall asleep.
No, I probably won't. I'll probably fall asleep before the results come in. It'll be a while, I think, before the results come in. There will be. They have these cards, and the cards start the votes for the early voting have all been run, but they're not actually taking the memory cards and counting who got voted for whom yet. So it'll take a while for those numbers to run. I'm sure there will be bellwethers folks look at to say if there's a break here in that direction or the other direction, that's what it means. But it'll be a while before we get someplace where there's real solid information. But the delay doesn't mean it's broken or corrupt. The delay should be expected.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll be catching up with you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm done at 4 from the paper ballot watching, so I'll let you know how that goes.
All right. So we'll We'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good, buddy. Look forward to it.